Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to News Today. We are coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle. We are on DTT because we're free to on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. This afternoon, let's address this dangerous insecurity trend in West Africa before it affects the whole region. President Akufo-Addo to member states of ECOWAS as the regional body meets in Accra to find a lasting solution to the security crisis threatening the sub-region.
The emergence of coup d'etats in our region is a matter of grave concern.
Well, security analysts is warning any further sanctions against Mali, Guinea and Burkina Faso will worsen the already dire situation.
Regime, it goes without saying, doesn't affect the ruling class. It is the people. A lot of these countries are grappling with Al-Qaeda and ISIS-affiliated groups.
Also this afternoon, Assin North MP James Dachikwe is slapped with charges including forgery and deceit of a public officer. We have details as he is ordered to show up in court on February 9. Plus 9 persons alleged to be engaged in illicit activities, including fraud and galamsey, doled out millions of cedis in support of the electoral bid of politicians in anticipation of receiving juicy contracts. We'll find out how these people are powerful. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Remember, we are streaming live on our YouTube channel and all our social media handles are Joy News on TV. Tweet at us with the hashtag News Today. My personal handle is @Nana Aisha. My Instagram, Aisha Joy News. Subscribe to my YouTube account at Aisha-TV. Please stay for details. Many thanks for choosing us. Let's address this dangerous security threat collectively and decisively before it affects us all. That's President Akufo-Addo warning to member states of ECOWAS as a regional body deliberates on ways to stop the insecurity in the West African sub-region. The military takeover in Burkina Faso last week is the latest, coming after similar ones in Mali and Guinea. The meeting today will seek answers to the issues fueling the agitations. Opening the extraordinary summit, President Akufo-Addo, who is also the chairman of ECOWAS, indicates that the bloc will do all within its power to bring to an end the menace of coup.
To the resurgence of the canker in our region. Let us address this dangerous trend collectively and decisively before it devastates the whole region. Excellencies, the resurgence of coup d'etats in our region is a matter of grave concern. This evolution challenges the democratic way of life we have chosen. We need to stand firm to protect democracy and freedom in our region. You'll recall that during our virtual summit held on the 28th of January 2022, we suspended Burkina Faso from participating in ECOWAS's institutions and requested the immediate release of President Roch-Marc Christian Kabore, who was detained alongside other political actors. During our summit, we reaffirmed our commitment to upholding the principle of zero tolerance for ascending to power through unconstitutional means, and therefore demanded an immediate restoration of constitutional order by the military. To assess more accurately the security and political situations in Burkina Faso, we agreed to dispatch 2 missions, respectively, the Committee of ECOWAS Chiefs of Defense Staff, led by the Ghanaian Chief of Defense Staff, on Saturday, 30th January 2022, and a joint ministerial delegation led by the chairperson of the Council of Ministers, the Ghanaian Foreign Minister, including the President of the Commission and the UN Secretary General's representative for the Sahel and West Africa, on Monday, 31st January 2022. Their reports have been submitted for our consideration. Excellencies, I commend our continental body, the African Union, on its firm decision to suspend Burkina Faso from participating in AU organs and institutions, in alignment with the decisions of the ECOWAS authority on the situations in Mali and Burkina Faso. The African Union expressed strong support to the efforts of ECOWAS in addressing peace and security challenges facing the region, including the resurgence of military coups. This is the solidarity and international coalition that are needed to halt the political turbulence in our region and the continent at large.
We'll bring you more on the ECOWAS summit and the Burkina Faso incident. But right now, there's been a judgment from the court. We'll get that report also shortly. We'll be going to Parliament and get reactions because Assin North MP James Dachikwesin has been slapped with some sanctions from the court. Let's go to Parliament and get reactions from the minority.
Enough. We believe, upon the instructions of the President and the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Godfrey Dame, the police administration called one of the lawyers who represented us for service of a criminal charge on him for prosecution. We all know what is it the 1992 Constitution provides for service to members of Parliament for purpose of civil or criminal proceedings. That also has been ignored and disrespected. Inviting him to make the Honorable question available for service, as I've indicated, our information indicates that the said charge borders on an allegation that Honorable Question committed a crime by signing a declaration to the Electoral Commission to the effect that he was qualified to stand for election as an MP. It must be placed on record that the legal propriety of the said declaration made by the Honorable James Question was challenged at the time he submitted same to the Electoral Commission, whereupon the Electoral Commission invited Honorable James Question and his detractors for an investigation of the said complaint. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, be interested in what I'm coming to say next. There was a complaint on a matter of his eligibility. The Electoral Commission subsequently determined the matter. The Electoral Commission subsequently determined the matter in favor of Honorable James Question after he had adduced sufficient evidence to satisfy the Electoral Commission. These are facts, verifiable facts. In the light of this fact, how can it be properly contended that Honorable James Question criminally used a false declaration? Criminally used a false declaration. A declaration determined by the institution established for that purpose, which made a determination on that matter favorable to him. To deceive the Electoral Commission in order to stand for the said election. Secondly, without prejudice, the issue of whether or not per Article 94(2)(a) of the 1992 Constitution, I believe that is what is before our competent courts. Whether Honorable James Question was qualified to stand as an MP is a question of law, which is pending before the Court of Appeal. And by all standards, it stands next to the Supreme Court in terms of judicial hierarchical authority and mandate. Before the Court of Appeal CEPCOS as well as the Supreme Court in various suits. Also, an application for stay of execution of the CEPCOS High Court's annulment Assin North parliamentary election filed by Honorable Question is still pending before the Court of Appeal. Under the circumstances, the lawful and reasonable thing for the Ghana police, the ruling New Patriotic Party government, and their surrogates to do is to contribution to the respect for the principles of rule of law. Any attempt by the police to prosecute Honorable James Question on the conclusion or assumption that he was not or is not qualified to contest the 2020 parliamentary election, pending a final decision by the Superior Court, is only prejudicial of the Court of Appeal and therefore contemptuous of the Court of Appeal and an obvious disrespect to the rule of law and the rule to respect an independent arbiter of the judiciary. It is obvious that the desperate Akufo-Addo government, the Attorney General Office and the police administration are acting in bad faith to get an unfair advantage in Parliament for the Nana Akufo-Addo Bawumia government in its unbridled quest to pass the unpopular insensitive A levy, which remains a major disincentive to the development of our digital economy and an apparent disregard for their own quest for a cash-light economy. We don't want to believe, neither do we want to accept, that they want to use the courts to tilt the balance of power. What the people of Ghana decided in December 2020 was to vote for a balanced hung parliament of 137-137.
You have the minority leader. It's a decision by government to tilt the hands of power. What has led to this? Assin North MP Justice Question has been slapped with charges including forgery and perjury by the Attorney General's office. He is also accused of deceiving a public officer and knowingly making a false declaration. It will be recalled that the High Court in July 2021 annulled the Assin North parliamentary election, saying Mr. Question was not eligible to contest the post as he was a dual citizen at the time of filing his nomination forms. Criminal proceedings have today been commenced against the MP. Court correspondent Joseph Akablay has more.
The MP was not present in court when the case was called, and the charges that have been filed against him includes perjury, forgery, deceit of a public officer, and making a false declaration for office. According to the prosecutors, while filling a passport application form, the MP failed to indicate that he held on to dual citizenship at the time. That is, he was a Ghanaian as well as a Canadian. Rather, they say on the form he indicated that he was only a Ghanaian. Now, they say that that was the situation in terms of the nomination form he filed to contest the elections as well. So this is the basis for the charges that have been leveled against him. The court was informed that they had been unable to serve him with documents, and so the court directed that a hearing notice be issued and the MP ordered to appear before the court.
We can go back to the ECOWAS summit happening here in Accra with Chairman President Akufo-Addo, who's been addressing the issue affecting Burkina Faso. Meanwhile, a security analyst Adep Sani is warning any further sanctions will make the already bad situation worse in the affected countries.
These are contagious, and the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres couldn't have gotten it right. He said that we seem to have found ourselves in a coup epidemic, and Africa has never seen this since 1999. Last year we had 4 successful coups. Unfortunately, ECOWAS is losing legitimacy. The sanctions regime is not working. They are not respected. Soldiers decide to take over the reins of power without recourse to what ECOWAS thinks about it. So I think it's important that ECOWAS rethinks on its templates. The usual statement issuing, meeting to suspend, sanctions, second sanctions. No, it's not working.
Again, let me ask this question. ECOWAS, just like AU, or the UN cannot directly be seen to be interfering in the internal politics of these countries. At best, what they can do is to institute sanctions, condemn the acts, and find ways to return these countries to constitutional rule. So really, what more can they do beyond what you think that
countries are grappling with Al-Qaeda and ISIS-affiliated groups? So when we sanction, we are emboldening these groups, and this will pose an existential threat to the security of the wider West African sub-region, because the historical and cultural closeness of the countries makes it very common for a spillover effect to happen. So it is in the interest of ECOWAS to ensure there is peace and security in Mali and these other countries.
Let's go back to Parliament and get more of the reactions from the minority on the decision by the court on the Assin North MP this afternoon.
But for us, but for we standing for principle and saying that don't take this under certificate of urgency, which resulted in those excesses. So consultation, they must thank us for giving them an opportunity to reach out to the Ghanaian public and to consult. In any case, it's only an afterthought and a corrective measure by them. But at least we are happy that they should not think that Ghanaians can be forever cowed by the imposition of this atmosphere of fear, high-handedness, intimidation of a political, strong minority. And as you hear them, I've heard some of them say that they should be comfortable with their 137 plus 1. We are comfortable with our 137, and we are optimistic of an increased number in the foreseeable future, in the coming days. So the Ghanaian people should be assured that this fast happiness will not be brought a desperate political administration to get us give in. We simply will not support e-levy, nothing more. Yeah. We shall continue with all our might to resist these desperations of the despotic Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo regime and those use of crude Machiavellian tactics to reduce our numbers without respect to the rule of law and respect to our court hierarchy and its authority as an independent, neutral arbiter on these matters. Any attempt to use the courts to tilt the balance of power will be the gravest danger. We lose faith and confidence in the independent judiciary. So we pray and hope that they will not use the courts to tilt the balance of power. We continue to uphold the values of democratic norms and principles and its ethos. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, we just needed to update you on the happenings in respect of one of our colleagues, the Honorable Kwesen, who is now been declared wanted by them because they want by all means to reduce our number by 1. And we know by all means we are 137. Thank you very much.
In Parliament, and he's been sending warning to the government that they will not kowtow to the e-levy, and if they think this is a decision to scare them, it will not happen. Let's move on to other stories, because 9 persons alleged to be engaged in illicit activities, including fraud and galamsey, doled out millions of cedis in support of the electoral bid of politicians in anticipation of receiving juicy contracts. These are findings of a CDD survey that put the cost of running a good presidential campaign at a minimum of $100 million. There is more in the following report.
At least 14 informants were interviewed. Cost of making a parliamentary bid was placed at 4 million cedis, that of presidential elections was $100 million.
The other part, which was a surprise, we didn't set out to get this data, was to estimate the cost to run for president. And at the validation sessions, we found, or we were told, that it will cost about $100 million. And these estimates were given by people who had been part of presidential campaigns, very high up. You can itemize the cost to know exactly what goes into it.
9 persons alleged to be engaged in illicit trade are said to have financed the election bid of some candidates.
In terms of what we found, we identified 9 financiers of candidates and political parties, funding to them, who were allegedly engaged in illicit activities and funding the money back. And these financiers were engaged in illegal mining, galamsey. Ever wonder why it's so difficult getting this problem solved? Illegal oil distribution, bunkering in the coast, particularly in the oil city.
The political parties are not surprised but want reforms.
Our expenditure as a nation has increased at all level parties. So the 4 million and the 100 million, I cannot authoritatively state, but I know that expenditures have run and there's the need to cut it.
I don't know whether I'll be able to actually say with some certainty, because nobody comes to offer funding and tells you that I'm engaged in human sacrifice or anything. You understand? The person may come and offer, and usually that is what they will be doing. It is only when you come to power that somebody will come and say that, well, this person, this business, help us with it and terrorists, so I'm coming to finance your party. Nobody will accept that type of funding. So
the CDD's Dr. Kojo Asante believes relevant state institutions must act.
Immediately, we are trying to constitute a small group with different people with very long history of working in this area to draft a roadmap. What do we have to do and within what time frame, with all the considerations that we can put in it, so that we can have a plan that we can, as civil society, as media, we can push and say, we need to make these.
Let's now speak with Inusah Fuseini, who is former Lands and Natural Resources Minister and former MP for Tamale Central. Thanks so much, Honorable, for your time this afternoon.
Thank you, Aisha.
What's your own experience with illegal miners doling out millions of cedis in support of the electoral bid of politicians? Hello, Mr. Inusah Fuseini.
I can hear you. Some people are calling and interrupting my line.
Right. So I'm asking you to share your own experience with illegal miners actually doling out millions of cedis in support of the electoral bid of politicians. I'm asking this because you've been in that sector.
Well, I have no experience of illegal miners supporting my campaign to be member of parliament. I also do not know of illegal miners supporting. There are a plethora of laws that deal with tainted funds. Any illegal activity or any money gotten from an illegal activity is tainted money. And when that tainted money is used to fund a legitimate business, then that is money laundering. And yesterday I was there and I told the gathering that probably the state institutions are not tracking how these illegal resources are getting into our body politic and are giving opportunity to people engaged in illegal activities to use their illicit and tainted resources to compromise our political experiment.
With this report, is this a sign that the parties involved in illegal mining are so powerful, and that's the reason we've had a
in illegal activities know that what they are doing is unacceptable, so they buy their peace. They buy their peace by contributing to parties, so that when the party is in power, it can go against them.
That makes them powerful then.
No, it's not about power. They're not powerful.
Because they have the support of the politicians.
Yes, so they are buying that support. They are buying that support by contributing to parties. They are not powerful. In fact, it's because they are weak. That is why they make those contributions. And they know they are weak, so they have to make those contributions to buy support, to buy protection.
But recently we've heard about having the politicians backing them, and that is why it's been difficult to actually fight them.
So that's the flip side. So why are politicians backing them? Politicians are backing them precisely because they are making contributions to their parties and their acts. So what are the state institutions? What is ECOWAS? What is the Ghana Revenue Authority? Where is the Serious Fraud Office? Where is the Office of the Special Prosecutor? Because unless we begin to draw the linkages and cross the dots, the T's and dot the I's, we are going to go far in our fight against using corrupt resources, illegal, illicit resources in funding political parties. I mean, the Ghana Revenue Authority should be interested in what business a person is doing that has enabled that person to make so much contribution to a political party, and whether that person has actually paid the requisite tax if that person is engaged in legitimate business. So it is in the interest of the Ghana Revenue Authority to track contributions made to political parties.
Can the politicians or the political parties do without these these powerful people we're talking about?
They must do without them. If they don't do without them, then we are surely on a trajectory towards state capture. Those people will determine government policy. Those people will determine government actions. And so government will be working in their interest and not the interest of the generality of the people of the country. That is why all of us need to build consensus on how to stop them. If not, they will capture the state.
I'm grateful for your time. High Court Labour Division is calling on the National Labour Commission to settle the case out of court. The case was held in chamber after NLC lawyer Eva Amiel moved a motion for enforcement that NLC directive on 13 January 2022. He urged the parties to report outcome of their negotiations on February 10, 2022 to see the way forward. Counsel for UTAG Kwesi Kelly, the latter briefed the media after the meeting with the judge. Now joining us on the phone for more on this is Dr. Samuel Nkoban, who is University of Ghana president of UTAG. I'm grateful for your time, Dr. Nkoban.
Very good afternoon to you and listeners.
This is a step in the right direction for UTAG, right?
Most definitely. UTAG expected, of course, that the substantive matters in relation to what has been happening since would be looked into and then a determination made ultimately by the court.
Okay.
And so, of course, it comes as important that at least some directive has been given. NLC has responsibility now to engage the substantive matters and probably make a determination that both parties, UTAG and government, would have to consider. And so we are looking forward to the steps that are going to be taken by the NLC and, for that matter, government on the other side in relation to our demands.
Share with me your expectations as you move into this meeting.
Well, there hasn't been a scheduled meeting as yet, but we do have in our mind very clearly what the issues are. And for UTAG, it is expected that in the interim, government would meet us in terms of what it is members.
I'm grateful for your time. Dr. Nkuban is President, University of Ghana chapter of UTAG. Let's take a break on news today. When we return, we'll bring you the very latest from the business world.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The International Monetary Fund has indicated its readiness to extend program support to Ghana if it gets a request from government. This was in response to an email sent to the fund over calls for government to subscribe to a program to help stabilize the economy. George Afe has more.
The fund in the email maintained that it stands ready to support the country any way deemed useful to government, but I have noted that this must be based on a formal request by government. The IMF also stated that the authorities in Ghana have not made any request for a program, as in behind-the-scenes discussions. There are rumors making round that as a Plan B strategy, this administration is looking back calls for it to go for an IMF program, insisted it has what it takes to deal with the current challenges. Some economists have also argued that going to the IMF might not just be about the financial package that it offers, but rather the assurance that it gives investors and the country's development partners about things turning around quickly, as government cannot do it alone in dealing with the current challenge. Facing the economy now, the IMF linked it to the challenge in matching expenditure with revenue, as well as improving upon tax collections, maintaining the country's rising debt stock. Some of the country's development partners have also told your business that if government can implement additional programs to quickly stabilize them, is needed now, later, or never.
In other news, Deng Limited says it remains committed to projects aimed at equipping ex-inmates with skills before being integrated into society. The company, which provides engineering solutions in solar power systems, among other areas in the sub-region, says helping such persons promotes social equity. Chairman of Deng Limited, Engineer Felix Kwanzaa, was speaking to Joy Business after commissioning a solar project for Prison Ministry of Ghana at Isutuari in the Greater Accra region. Correspondent Kwame Yanka has more.
The Halfway Home project under the Prison Ministry of Ghana is aimed at equipping ex-inmates with skills before integrating into society. One of such is farming, but this has been difficult in the absence of water. The Ministry in 2017 from its sister organization Bofan Foundation and Green People's Energy under GIZ, the solar facility is ready. Chairman of Deng Limited, Engineer Felix Kwanzaa, says the facility 50,000 cities and falls under their corporate social responsibility.
The kind of satisfaction Deng and Bofam have stems from the fact that we're giving the discharged prisoners their lives back, supporting basically because of water. They do their plantation in the dry season. So basically, to make this project sustainable has been our first. And what we would love to say here is that we want to encourage those churches just supporting the prisons ministry. To
Ministry of Ghana, Samokujeto, who was once in prison, is excited the project has manifested after 3 decades.
Having been inside the prison, having hobnobbed with convicts, even though I was not a convict, you feel you are part of them. You feel for them. And you feel the helplessness of many of them, particularly those who have even finished serving their sentence and they are discharged. Many of them are not welcome home. And it's depressing just to watch them. And so for me to be involved in the prisons ministry, where we took a decision that it is important for us to have a halfway home, where a discharged prisoner can have a home he can lay his head, a place where he can do some work and earn a little income, and then build himself up eventually. To me, 31 years of waiting, this is a day for rejoicing.
Representatives from Prison Service, GIZ, among others, were present for the commissioning.
All right, a quick programming update before we go. Tonight, we'll bring you Joy Business Social across our social media platforms. We are discussing savings with Mubarak Smaila, who is co-founder of Bezu Money. Don't miss it at 6 p.m. across our social media platforms.
Last night, Senegal made it back-to-back finals in the African Cup of Nations, defeating Burkina Faso by 3-1. And head coach of the Teranga Lions, Aliou Cisse, has been speaking about the upcoming grand finale that will be happening on Sunday, either against Cameroon or Egypt. And according to him, the grand finale will be a tough one.
Personally, I have nothing against Cameroon. It's a country we respect. It's a team we respect. They're one of the best in Africa, and as I said, we're Senegal. We're a strong team. Now, as I said earlier, whether it is Egypt or Cameroon, we should not think that if it's Egypt, it will be easier. They first of all need to qualify for the finals, as we said. Either it's Egypt, which has won 7, or Cameroon has won. Sunday will be facing a very strong team. We have never been this close to the tournament, and it is going to be a big fight. We are going to dedicate this victory of today to all the we said Aijo. Aijo for us Senegalese means a lot. He is buried in our country. We know that his prayers go with us. I have never been afraid coming to Amadou Aijo to play.
And tonight is the second semi-final of the tournament. We're speaking about the semi-final fixture later tonight. According to him, their target is to win the trophy for the 8th time.
We are concerned. We are a group. We are proud to represent Egypt at the highest level, and we hope to do everything possible. Here we are at the semi-final. It is a great achievement for us and for the people of Egypt. Each and every one of us feels a final is just ahead of us. So we wanted to remain together right to the end, right from the first day. Each time we sit, we discuss, we are determined to win the competition, we say. And we have great players among us, we have new players, and we sit together and we discuss amongst us. Mohamed Salah is just one of us. In the past periods, you see, we played as a team. So what is important is the Egyptian team to win the competition. That is our goal.
A big goal for the Egyptians, record holders of the African Cup of Nations, and a country standing before them is Cameroon later tonight. These two countries have combined won the African Cup of Nations 11 times. You can head out to myjoyonline.com and read some more sports stories.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News Today. Now, actress and producer Yvonne Nelson says she can't wait for everyone to see her new project. We sums up everything we need to know about some specific men. Adele has a little message for her fans. The singer on Instagram posted she will be performing at the Brits Awards this year, and also shared making an appearance on the Graham Northern Shovel in Paradise. Well, on that note, we end Showbiz here on Joy News Today. Good to see you, Aisha, on the Joy News
and
today.
Good to see you, Becky. And that's how we wrap up the news today. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Enjoy the rest of our programs.
Bye.